we have to see that. Slide 1, please. What gets hurt when your feelings are hurt? What gets hurt? Okay? It's your ego. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, honey. Okay? Did I hurt your pride? Did I hurt your pride? Did I hurt your pride? Maybe I need to. I know I sound mean, don't I? But I'm really not. I think we have to turn this thing around. What gets hurt when your feelings are hurt? It's your ego. Slide number 2. It's just about the same. Feelings hurt is nothing but a sore ego. A sore ego is walls broken down. When Jeremy's opinion of me means so much, or vice versa, there are walls broken down in my life. When somebody in your life, when their opinion means so much, there are walls broken down in your life. There's something wrong, in your life when that happens. Next slide, Wally. I love myself, and that's all that matters. By the way, Bonnie found all these things. Self-esteem. I can't even read that one up there. It's a matter of God, me. I just picture it. This is what we're trying to fix. And this is opposite of what the Bible is saying. Yours is too big. Mine is too big. We need some gospel humbleness. It looks like we need. Next slide, Wally. I'm arrogant. I'm not arrogant. I'm just a little better than you. See, and here's the thing, folks. I know you don't think you're saying that. I know you don't think you're saying that. I don't think I'm saying that. Okay? But really, in so many ways, I am saying that. In my knowledge, in my ability, in my instincts that I have for the things that I do, I feel good. I feel good about that. And it has to be directed the right way. So what gets hurt when your feelings are hurt is your ego. The 3 things that Paul shows us here are, next slide, Wally, the natural condition of the human ego. Okay, that's what Paul is really talking about in 1 Corinthians here. It's the natural condition of the human ego is what he's talking about. The transformed sense of self that I mentioned, it's a supernatural. How does this happen? Which Paul had discovered. He figured it out. Paul figured it out. How to get to this gospel humbleness. And then how do we get transformed? A good transformation sense of self. The right, healthy. That's the 3 things that Paul is showing. The natural condition of the human ego is here. And in verse 6, Paul urges the Corinthians, to have no more pride in one person over another. And now I think we may think, of course pride is inappropriate. Of course we think pride is inappropriate. But verse 6, or slide 6, but we need to realize that the word that Paul uses here for pride is not the normal hubris word that we talked about, but physio, which is what I mentioned last week. And it's an unusual word. Paul uses it here another 5 times in this particular book and in Colossians. And now people are realizing, it looks like Paul had a little in on this. It looks like it's only Paul that was using this, and it seems to be a special theme of Paul. This inflation, this physio. By using this particular word, Paul is trying to teach the Corinthians something about the human ego. The word used here for pride literally means to be overinflated, swollen, distended beyond its proper size. That's what we're looking at here when he talks about this word here. It brings to mind a rather painful image of an organ in the human body. An organ that is so distended and so out of shape, so much air that it's been pumped into it. So much air that it's overinflated and ready to burst. That's what Paul is talking about. It's swollen, it's inflamed, and extended beyond its proper size. And that, Paul says, is the condition of the natural human ego. Because it's quite the picture. Our egos is just huge. And I think we're supposed to reflect on the image on what Paul is trying to say here. Our ego is huge. And maybe you can look at it this way. The image suggests 4 things. 4 things about the natural condition of the human ego. 1 is that the human ego is empty. 2, that it's painful. 3, that it's busy. And 4, that it's fragile. Okay? First, slide 7. Thank you. The human ego is empty. And this image points to the fact that there's an emptiness at the center of the human ego. The ego that is puffed up and overinflated has nothing at its center. it is empty. And what we're trying to do is fill it with so many different things. And we have there's a book out called Sickness Unto Death, and it says that it is the normal state of the human heart to try to build its identity around something besides God. So we've been filling it and filling it and filling it with so many things. And it's huge. And if we have filled it with something that is very, it's not safe, or it's tenuous, then someone's going to come along and wipe you out. What happens when you're the most beautiful person in the whole world and somebody collapses your face? What happens when you're the greatest athlete in the world, the fastest human in the world, and you're not anymore? You know, I watch people come in my store all the time, and I see what used to be pride for them. I see what used to be an ego for them. You know, those types of things. What begins to happen? Well, normally what we're trying to do is to build our identity around things other than God. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the ego. Spiritual pride is the illusion that we're competent to run our own lives. I think, again, I know you people pretty well, and you're thinking, well, you know, I really don't try to run my own life. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. We try to achieve our own sense of self-worth, and we find a purpose big enough to give us meaning in life without God. You know, and, you know, one of the biggies